Welcome to Primetime, everybody. I'm your host, Hunter Chambliss, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chad and Kerri. How's it going, guys?
It's going great. Excited for a new year of horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 2024 is scheduled to be a very good year for horror. So what we're doing is our most anticipated horror movies of 2024. But first, I do have one small movie news update. Let me see if I can pull it up. That's not it. That's Disney. All right, so we have a Jordan Peele produced horror movie called Goat, which is starring Marlon Wayans. And it says Marlon Wayans is gearing up to be the lead in producer Jordan Peele's latest project, the psychological thriller Goat. Wayans will play a team's retiring golden athlete while a newcomer sportsman enters the fold, according to Deadline. Reportedly, the longtime actor comedian was always envisioned for the role. Besides Wayne playing the GOAT, aka the greatest of all time, much isn't known about the film's plot. Ghost is based on the screenplay by Zach Atkins and Skip Broney. The horror thriller is being produced by Peele's Monkey Paw Production and Universal Pictures. So, not a lot on the actual movie, but Jordan Peele is producing a new movie. I know he has one scheduled to come out very soon as well that he's directing. Uh, I'm a huge fan of Marlon Wayans as well, so hopefully we get to see more of his range come up in upcoming projects. Guys, thoughts on this movie news?
I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say is that it's really fun when we get to see, well, I mean, because we got to see comedian turned horror director with Jordan Peele.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm excited to see the comedian turned horror director um, directing a comedian turned horror actor.
I don't think Jordan
Um,
Peele's directing it.
oh, he's not directing it.
No, he's just
Oh,
He's not
producing.
directing it. Yeah,
oh,
he's just producing.
oh. Well, it's less exciting then.
Is it a horror?
It is. It's a
It's not
psychological
Oh,
thriller.
I'm sorry. You did say horror thriller. I'm sorry.
well, I
That's
mean,
fine.
either way, it'll be cool to see what it is.
Yeah.
I like what I've seen from Marlon Wayans especially in like actual like serious movies. Because he's just done so many like silly comedies like White Chicks and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But recently he showed up in Air. Um, you know,
Yeah.
we've seen him do legit serious thing. He was in Requiem for a Dream too. So
Oh, it's so heartbreaking in that movie.
yeah, so it'll be great to see him do something different, and maybe he'll blow us away. We never know.
Kerri, any
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yeah. No, it sounds interesting. I think it'll be I think the movies that Monkey Paw has put out haven't disappointed yet. So
Yeah,
I think this will be a great movie.
yeah, because I mean, like we like Candyman,
I like
so
Candyman.
I love the new Candyman movie. All right, so let's move on to our main topic, which is our most anticipated horror movies of 2024. So for this one, we're just very casual conversation. We're gonna pick a random movie that we have out of our list, and we're just gonna talk about it while we're excited for it. So Kerri, why don't you kick us off with one of your most anticipated movies of 2024?
Okay. I gotta pull up the list. Okay, yeah. I'll just go with the first one on my list, which is A Quiet Place Day One. Um as much as sometimes it's hard, like when I guess anytime a movie starts to franchise, this will be the third movie in the Quiet Place series. Anytime a horror set of films starts to franchise, it starts to get concerning. You're like, when is the quality gonna drop off?
Mm-hmm.
But I really love the first two films. I don't so I'm going into this one pretty hopeful that it's gonna be pretty great. I think all I know about this is that I think from the title, it's the first day of the monsters, I guess, appearing. We've seen clips of that, I think,
excuse
in
me.
Quiet Place Part 2, and maybe a little. I don't think we did in the first one.
No,
The
Um,
opening credits, you see a little bit of it, but not that much, I
yeah, and
believe.
it's not even like the day of. It's kind of like
The months and years, like Yeah.
So I think this will be. I have high hopes for it.
Chad?
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the people that are attached to this is actually
Hmm.
getting me really excited for it. So I love the first two A Quiet Place movies. It took me a minute to get around to actually love because I liked the first one the first time but didn't love it, and then you know a couple rewatches later I was like, oh, actually I love this movie. This is so great. And then
Hmm.
the sequel I just love right out of the gate. So going into this one, I'm just excited for whatever they do. Like Kerri said, it could maybe dip in quality at some point. Hopefully, it's not as soon as the third movie, or maybe they'll be smart enough to know exactly when to stop and they'll give us a great finale to the series. Um, but yeah, I mean, it could dip in quality, but honestly, looking at who's attached to it, so you got Michael Sarnowski directing it, and he directed Pig, which I thought was
Mm.
fantastic.
Hmm.
So that's a great, great movie. And then I mean you got Lupita Nyong'o in it. Um, Alex Wolff is in it. He wasn't in the other ones,
Yeah.
but he's a pig actor. So yeah.
Was
So
was Alex or Nate the one in Hereditary? I think it was Alex, wasn't it?
Alex. Yeah, that was Alex,
Yeah.
and he was in
So
Pig, directed by Michael Sarnowski.
that's
Um,
awesome.
so yeah, so I'm excited looking at the cast and the director. Um,
Hmm.
and you still got John Krasinski writing, so it's
Yep.
his vision, throughout all three, even if he's not directing, because he directed that new If movie that I'm kind
Okay.
of excited to check out that too,
Hmm.
but it's not horror.
And Michael Samosky, is that how you say his last name?
Aronofsky.
There we go. He wrote, I believe, the first two with John as well. So this is his first time
Oh,
stepping
Gotcha.
in to direct, but this is not his first time in the franchise.
Well, that's
nice.
amazing because we know he's a good director. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
I just kind of
Um,
wish he brought Alex Wolff over. I kind of wish he would have brought Nick Cage into the Quiet
yes,
Place.
that would be amazing. I'm very excited for this movie. Hearing the kind of plot summary of it, which is like, again, it's a prequel set to the beginning of the alien invasion. But the great thing about this movie is that it's set in like a big, like loud city um, scene. So there's gonna be a lot of mayhem and stuff because they're attracted to noise.
Mhm.
I'm getting kind of a Cloverfield vibe from it as well, being set in a big city with an alien type invasion. The cast is incredible. Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn. I'm looking forward to see what he does because that's Eddie from Stranger Things, which is he's big now. So seeing him in this big franchise is really cool. Yeah, Jamin Hansu, I'm a huge fan of him as well. He's in this film, so massive cast, really good story. I can't wait for this movie. All
Yeah.
right, Chad, you want to go next and pick a movie?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with one of my top ones to start off mine.
Hmm.
I'll go with Beetlejuice 2. Um,
Yes.
I mean, I of course it always could be bad. It could just be a long-awaited sequel that's bad, but sometimes they're not. And I think Tim Burton could actually probably take something he's done so well before with Beetlejuice and give us a great sequel to this. I have
Hmm.
faith in him. We're getting a lot of the main cast back, like Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, and Willem Dafoe is going to be in this, and Jenna Ortega as
Yes.
well. So I'm like, do you think that's a problem back there? So I'm like,
No, it's that toy.
okay, thank you. Music by Danny Elfman. So we
Hmm.
have a lot behind the camera here to actually like give us something awesome. Looks like the story has something to do with oh no, this might be I was trying to read through like the little bit of a story they have, something like they were kicking around the idea of like Lydia in Hawaii or something like that. I don't think there's really like a legit like plot that we can like look at right now
Hmm.
to figure out what they're actually going to do. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Regardless, I think.
Kerri?
Um, I don't have high hopes for this one. I don't
Mm.
know. I'm not really. I feel like it's capitalizing on nostalgia, which a lot of stuff does. It's a
Hmm.
trend. I'm not. It can be great when it's pulled off well, but I think unfortunately we've had a lot that hasn't been pulled off. So yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's fair. I'm very excited for this. Hopefully this goes the way of Top Gun Maverick, like how great that movie was,
That's what
and
I was
like
thinking too. Yeah.
yeah, but the fact that we have both Tim Burton returning, I believe he's also writing the script for this movie as well, so that gives me high hope. You've got a lot of the original cast coming back, and then the new additions of Defoe and of course Jenna Ortega, who Tim Burton has a lot of like a good history with off of Wednesday. That kind of gets me excited to see what kind of parallels they can go with each other off of this new project. I love that Keen's coming back as Beetlejuice. I love that they're using Jenna Ortega as Lydia's daughter. I think that's a really good way to like continue the tradition.
Yeah.
Overall, I just hope this movie is on par with the first one, or maybe it goes Top Gun Maverick and exceeds my expectations.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, guys, before we move on?
No, I'm just excited for it. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely. All right, on to me. I'll start with one that I know a lot of people aren't excited for, but this does pique my interest. And I'm going to go with the Crow remake. I think the fact that you have Bill Skarsgård on board as Eric Draven is really cool. I think that they have a really good cast behind him. I just hope that this is on par with what I loved about the original Crow, which was this kind of dark, dark aesthetic, really cool, practical effects, and a really good, solid story to hold it together. I think Bill Skarsgård can give a great performance, but let's see what happens. So, guys, thoughts on the Crow remake?
Oh, the crow. Okay, I thought it was something else you said. Sorry.
Um, yeah, I kind of similar thoughts on this. A remakes can be fantastic and they can be pretty bad. And like you said, Hunter, kind of
Hmm.
like ruin what you loved about the original. So
Yeah.
I just hope this is kind of like an innovative take, and maybe hopefully differs from like what everyone expects going into it and can kind of like set itself apart from the original movie.
Hmm. Chad?
Yeah. I don't know much about it. I'm reading a little bit through it now. I'm not that big of a fan of like the original The Crow. It's just been a
Hmm.
long time since I've seen it and stuff. I mean, the story is kind of cool. It's basically a revenge tale. If they write it well, maybe it can be something that they can bring to the 2020s and make it relevant to today and give us something worth seeing. I'm skeptical about it. It doesn't look like the director's like giving us anything like
Yeah.
that we've loved as a consensus. But it's one of those where I don't know. Bill Skarsgård's been great in every horror movie I've seen him in, so I don't think
Hmm.
if there's a problem with the movie, I don't think he'll be it. So I'm excited to see him in that role, and to see what comes of it. Um,
All right. So if that's yeah, because we don't really have enough information on the
yeah.
Crow. Kerri, back on to you for your next selection.
Yeah, I'll go with the next one on my list, which is Terrifier 3. Very exciting. I think this one is supposed to be a Christmas movie. I'm sure we will see. I'm sure this has a much, much, much larger budget than the first two movies. Although I hope with
2
that,
million.
yeah. Well, that's actually not like insane, but it's much. It is a lot higher than the first two, but it's actually a little lower than I would have expected, given how popular Terrifier 2 was.
Mhm.
I do hope that it kind of maintains like I actually haven't seen the first Terrifier, but I do hope it kind of maintains the charm of Terrifier 2. And I think part of the charm for me of that movie is like these fantastic special effects, but like it's still like a pretty, in some ways it's kind of schlocky, you know. Some of the acting isn't the best, although I do think what's his name who plays Art is
David
absolutely,
Howard Thornton.
yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. I think the main girl in Terrifier 2 was really fantastic, but you know, there's
Mhm.
definitely some odd performances. There's like, you know, things don't quite add up. I hope it doesn't lose that kind of those fun aspects that for me make Terrifier 2 a more enjoyable watch than a film that would maybe that's high budget but also just like straight gore.
Chad?
Yeah, I like Terrifier 2. I've only seen it the one time, so I don't know if I'm in a love it territory, but I do think it was like very, very well done for what it was. So I'm skeptical for three reasons. Hunter and I actually had a pretty good discussion about what we thought this was going to be not too long ago, and on the channel, and we were talking about the trailer and how we think it's going to be a fake out where he's not actually going to
Mhm.
kill a child. But that those are some of my my things where I'm like, okay, as long as they don't kill a child in some crazy gruesome way, kill an animal in some crazy gruesome way, those are both deal breakers for me. Or um, basically shit on Christmas. Like if it's kind of celebrating Christmas just in a very horror way, then I'll be like, yeah, this is really awesome. But if it's like negative for Christmas, then I'm not gonna probably not gonna like it as much. So I'm on the fence about it. I want it to be awesome. I want it to be really good. I think what his name, Damien
Damon
Leone.
Leone.
Yeah,
Um,
Damien Leone.
I think he's going to give it the same amount of care, even
Mhm.
with the higher budget and everything that he had. So maybe we'll just get like even more blood this time. Um, but yeah, I'm interested. I just don't know how excited I am. I'm hesitant, but we'll see. Interested though.
Yeah, I am very excited for this movie. I really did not like Terrifier 1. I thought it was more style over substance. Like there really wasn't a story to connect to. In Terrifier 2, they gave me a great lead character that I can attach myself to, who's also coming back for the third one, which is her name is Lauren Lavera. I think she did amazing in Terrifier 2. Glad that she's coming back. Glad that her brother is coming back as well. Um yeah, I don't think Art is going to kill a child. If anything, I think they're going to go more mystical and have him just kill Santa Claus, like straight up, which would be a kind of a funny way to like kind of mock Christmas, but not like really like hate on Christmas. But it's just a way to like kind of shock you and then open up the film, which would be kind of funny in my opinion. Um, I really like this franchise. I think the practical effects are always on point because Damon Leone worked in special effects, so he really understands the best way to shoot and the best way to use practical effects with a little bit of CGI. I think the $2 million budget is going to go really, really far in his hands, so I can't wait to see what happens.
Yep.
All right, Chad, on to you.
All right, I'll go ahead and bring up. excuse me. Shelby Oaks.
I
Um,
nice.
yeah, this is one that's interesting. I haven't always been like I've always loved movies, but I haven't always been a big like critical movie watcher
Hmm.
for a long time. But when I started to get into actually looking at films in like a critical way and trying to watch the best films and actually use a critical eye, I got into watching Chris Duckman videos, and he was basically one of the pioneers of what everybody tries to do now and review movies on YouTube and things like that. So he's been always been like one of my favorites, and I've recently started trying to get back into watching a lot of his stuff because since he's done directing Shelby Oaks, because he's the director. If you didn't
Hmm.
know of Shelby Oaks, um, he's now doing a lot more videos um, because I guess he's got all that time freed up. But no, I'm excited to finally see it. I was on the Kickstart for this movie. He famously raised a lot of money, even got a shout out from Mike Flanagan on Twitter, basically
That's
saying,
awesome.
way to go. Like, getting, raising the money to do it. And it was a long process for them to get through it. But he got, Keith David is in the movie. So there's like at least one big star in it.
Oh
And
wow, he is.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this is. I don't know too much about the actual story or whatever's going to unfold with it, but Chris Tuckman, if anybody knows what a good movie's like, I think Chris knows. So,
Mhm.
hopefully he wrote a good script, and it's going to be really awesome. I'm very, very excited to see it.
Kerri, thoughts on Shelby Oaks?
Yeah, I am super excited for this one. This is like maybe my most anticipated at this point, just because I think it'll be
Awesome.
so fun to see what Chris Stuckman comes up with. And
Hmm.
um, yeah, it's kind of been like, I know Chad backed the Kickstarter, I think, or whatever it was, or
Yeah,
right?
I said Kickstarter.
Yeah, okay. So this has been in the works for a while, and it'll be cool just to like see someone like go from being an internet critic or like yeah, I guess that's what it would be, internet critic, to actually making a horror film.
Yeah, it's kind of like what the Talk to Me guys did, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I'm actually really excited for this. Stuckman was one of the first YouTube critics I watched, along with people like Jeremy Johns. Really got me into like looking critically into movies. Um, and this premise actually sounds really good about kind of like it's like a paranormal type movie. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. Super excited to see Keith David in this film. I love just him as an actor in general. I think he's been in some iconic, horror movies. He's just a great actor, in general. So overall, I'm really excited to see what Chris Tuckman can bring to us in this film. All right, on to me. Let's see. I'm gonna go with Lisa Frankenstein. This film sounds really interesting to me. It is directed by Zelda Williams, the daughter of Robin Williams, and it is written by Diablo Cody, who wrote Juno and Jennifer's Body. It's this kind of horror comedy about Lisa, who brings someone back to life, and it's this really cool like retro feel type movie. It looks really fun. The trailers look really good. Hopefully it's got Catherine Newton and Cole Sprout, so that's gonna be a really cool cast. So I just hope this movie is good. So that's my pick for Lisa Frankenstein. Chad, Kerri, you guys want to take it over from here?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like this is Zelda's directorial debut, so
Yes.
that's really cool. I hope she did a great job with it. And yeah, I love Diablo Cody as a writer because I love Juno. I love Jennifer's
Mhm.
Body. So yeah, I just based on those two things, seeing a really cool debut, and the one of my favorite like writers,
Mhm.
is great. I think the actors are are great as well. So it's just a really interesting concept. It could not be great. I don't know. It could go the well. You guys love Renfield, but I was going to say it could go the way of Renfield, where it's you can enjoy it, but it's not like great writing per se.
Mhm.
Or maybe it could just be brilliant, and or maybe it'll be great, and people will still shit on it like they did Jennifer's Body. So who knows?
Kerri?
Yeah, I think this will be cool. I really like Catherine Newton, so I think I'm excited to see this one, see how it turns
It's
out.
coming out soon. So
Yeah, I was about to say I thought this was either already out or I guess it's
February 9th.
okay. Yeah, so I think this will be a fun one.
Yeah, I will say the idea that Zelda Williams is teaming up with Diablo Cody, people who are really good. I would think Zelda Williams has a really good sense of humor, and Diablo Cody can write really good dialogue between two people with a lot of great comedy. This is going to be it could be a really funny horror movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move back over to Kerri.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's talk about I Saw the TV
I
Glow.
just pulled that up on
Oh.
Wikipedia. I thought you were gonna do it.
Me too.
So this is the director also did a movie called We Are All Going to the World's Fair, which
I really need to see that.
we haven't seen
Me
yet.
too.
But the reason I put this as one of my most anticipated is apparently it has a ton of Buffy references in it. And the
Wow.
Which you only know that because apparently I'm imagining a Buffy fan went to Sundance.
someone saw it at Sundance
Yes.
and wrote up the Buffy, like that there's a lot of Buffy references. Also, though, that person reviewed it well. So I'm interested not just for the Buffy references, but for the fact that this seems like it'll probably be a really good movie.
It's gotten a lot of great reviews
And I love
From-
Justice Smith.
from Sundance. Not just Justice Smith, but you also got Daniel Deadweiler, who a lot of people were pissed off that she didn't win an
Oh,
Oscar
yeah.
for Till. And then
Oh.
also everyone's favorite musician, Fred Durst. is
Yeah,
I
in it.
saw that.
He's in there.
He did it all for the Nookie. But yeah, this is also an A24 movie, so it's at least going to be interesting. Two teenagers bond over their love of a television series. I wonder what television series that is. After
It's not Buffy. It's
Oh, it's
like
not.
a made up series.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Okay, yeah, true. Because after it is mysteriously canceled, their realities begin to blur. Interesting. This sounds really cool. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I've never heard of this film, and looking at it, it looks really interesting. By the way, I did not realize this, but this movie also stars Amber Benson, who plays Tara in Buffy.
That
So that's
rule.
cool as well. So this movie sounds very interesting, very meta in a way. Yeah, Justice Smith is amazing in movies like Dungeons and Dragons and Detective Pikachu. He's really good. Um, produced by Emma Stone, which is awesome. A24 film. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what this one is. Fred Durst gets me kind of nervous because I know he's not that good of an actor, but maybe in this role they'll write around his limited acting ability. But I mean, if the movie's getting great reviews, I'm very interested to see what people liked about it. All right, so we move on to Chad.
Yeah, I'll bring up the Toxic Avenger. Um, I'm I'm iffy on this one. I'm hoping that it's something that I'll really like. I don't know like if it's gonna be because I know it's like based on like a trauma film, which I haven't seen. I don't plan to see. But I'm hoping like the humor is like my style, or if it's like too. I don't know if it's too trashy. I want to say it might not be my style, but the thing that makes me really want to see it is that I love Macon Blair as a an actor and a director. He did some of my favorite movies
Did
like
this
Blue
movie get
Ruin.
pushed back?
It got pushed back from like last year to this year.
Oh, okay, because like I'm seeing like reviews and stuff for it that said 2023, so I didn't know if like it got pushed back or anything like
Yeah.
that.
I don't exactly know when it's coming out, but I'm pretty sure it got pushed back. Yeah, it got reviews on at Fantastic Fest in 2023, but it hasn't been like released to the public yet, like in wide
Oh,
release.
okay.
Um, but yeah, Macon Blair did some of my favorite movies like Blue Ruin and Green Room. Um, so I'm just a big fan of his. And wait, this isn't his first movie he directed, is it? He didn't direct Blue Ruin. Um, no, he also directed I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, which is also an
Mhm.
incredible movie. So that yeah, so I think this is gonna be a good movie. Um, although I don't know much else about it. I think Peter Dinklage is in it and Jacob Tremblay. So
Yep.
yeah, it's got good talent.
Kerri?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I haven't seen the original, but I really want to. But I think this will be really cool. I'm curious to see what direction they go with it.
Yeah, so I've been looking up like a lot of stuff on the Toxic Avenger. I know the the 80s. I think the original one came out in the 80s. It was not good. It was very schlocky, really like like really gross just to be gross in a way. Like they didn't really have a story for it. This one is getting great reviews though. 91% on Rotten Tomatoes coming out of Fantastic Fest. The cast is really great, as Chad said. Peter Dinklage, Jacob Tremblay, Elijah Wood, Kevin Bacon. A lot of massive talent. Um, so I'm very interested to see what this movie does. I'm not sure when it comes out, but I'll definitely be looking forward to it. All right. Is it on to me? Did Chad choose that one? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go with Romulus, which is the new Alien movie coming out this year from director Fede Alvarez, who directed um, the 2013 Evil Dead film, and he also directed Don't Breathe. So that's a really good. Ooh, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It says the premise is that Alien Romulus will take place between the events of Alien and Aliens. So it's that brief like 2 year period um in the movie. So I'm interested to see what he does with that. Um some of the cast is mostly unknowns, but there is um some interesting ones in here. Overall, I'm really excited to see what Fede Alvarez brings to the Alien franchise, especially with his what he did in Don't Breathe, making this kind of closed, you know, um, closed space horror movie, and just add that on a ship, and I think you can do really great things with it. So, Chad and Kerri, thoughts on Alien Romulus?
Yeah, I'm actually more excited for this than just because Fede Alvarez is attached to it. And I think that will be really, really interesting because when I think of Fede Alvarez and what he's done in horror, like the Alien franchise doesn't really jive with that very much. Like, because he's just been
Mhm.
kind of like, in Evil Dead, it was a lot of like gore and blood and like Don't Breathe, not as gory, but like, you know, pretty dark and surprising. And like I think both movies kind of just like high intensity. And it's just different. I wouldn't expect him to do an Alien movie. So I think what he comes out with will be really, really cool. I think it'll be something way different than we've seen in the franchise.
Chad?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting because. Please get down, buddy. It's going to be interesting because Alien, the first Alien was a really great horror movie, one of the best. Aliens, not as much horror, a little horror, but more action, but both like masterpieces, basically.
Mhm.
Everything after that has either been like bad, mid, or like decent, but like divisive kind of a deal. And so it's one of those where I have to taper my expectations for it and not get like too excited. But you guys mentioning Fede Alvarez doing this, that's interesting. And Kerri was talking about like his kind of style and stuff. But if you look at like Don't Breathe, sorry, he's like in my face now. If you look at Don't Breathe, I think that kind of would show the chops of how he would do an alien, like a confined, like he did most of that movie in like a house.
Mm.
So translate that to a ship, change the blind old man to an alien. You know, you know what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah.
So I think as long as this is like tapering it back to maybe just one alien instead of like a bunch, I think
Mhm.
it could be actually really cool. As long as it doesn't feel like just a carbon copy of the original Alien, because that wouldn't, like, if you did like a David Gordon Green Halloween and just try to like copy everything from the original movie and just say this is a new movie, then you
Mhm.
go like, no, I'd rather just watch the original right now. At least that's my take on Halloween 28.
Yeah. So my hope for this is that this movie turns out for the Alien franchise like Prey turned out for the Predator franchise. Something
Nice.
that revitalize the love for these characters, and then maybe because like again, I harp on Fede Alvarez a lot because one, he's a really good horror director, but also it's a big name attached to a franchise like this that we haven't really seen. Like we had some interesting directors here and there, but not like a horror director come in and really give his take on what the Alien franchise could be. So that gets me very excited.
Totally.
All right, let's move back over to Kerri with her next selection.
Okay. Um I will go with Maxine. So this is the ending of the trilogy that started with X, continued with Pearl, and now we're going to finish out Maxine's story. Um, I'm really excited to see how this film will be because X and Pearl were, even though they're in the same like trilogy, they're dramatically different movies. So I'm really curious to see what Maxine will be like. Yeah.
All right, Chad, thoughts on Maxine?
Yeah, I mean, I put it in my like most anticipated kind of deal. I didn't love X. I like Pearl more. I need to revisit X. I want to kind of do like a double feature with those, to see if my anticipation gets even higher. Because I put it like in like the back half, like the probably the last spot actually of my most anticipated, because I'm interested, because I do really love Ty West. I especially love Ty West when he was doing his like slow burn stuff, like the Innkeepers and the House of the
Mm-hmm.
Devil. That's the stuff that I really like from him. Maxine's probably not going to be like that, and I don't know what the hell it's going to be, to be honest. It might not be my style. If it goes like even harder than X and Pearl did, as far as like uh, just like sex and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Because I just don't love stuff like that in movies a lot of the times, unless it like services the story. But it's one of those things to where also the stuff recently that came out with what's her name?
Mia Goth.
Mia Goth. So that's also one of those things where if it just gets swept under the rug, then whatever. But if it's one of those things to where more stuff keeps coming out, then it might taper the expectations even more about it. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what to expect from this one. I'm hoping it still brings the horror. Because like, what is it? Is this the prequel?
No, this is the sequel to X.
This is a
Yeah.
sequel to X. Okay. Okay, so there's nothing to do with Pearl. It's now just Maxine. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I don't know even where they would go from there, to be honest. So I'm, yeah. I mean, I think it could just be X and Pearl and be done with it. So I'm interested to see where they go from there. I guess maybe it'll see how the events of X affected her. I don't know.
So, according to the premise, it says after surviving a massacre, Maxine moves to Los Angeles in the early 80s to pursue her dreams of becoming a famous actress. So, I like the idea of like that's another way they tie in Maxine with Pearl. Both of them really wanted to be an actress. Pearl couldn't do it, so Maxine is now living her dream more by moving to Los Angeles and going for that career. It kind of ties both Pearl and Maxine as like similar characters in a way.
So I guess we'll just have
Um,
to figure out where the slasher elements are coming from. Or if she's just going to end up acting in Hollywood, and that's the story.
so looking at this movie as a whole, I'm very excited for it. I'm someone who I really loved Pearl, but I think I like X more. I like that kind of high pace, kind of slasher feel that X had to, like an old school slasher. So I hope this movie goes for more of that, but I understand Chad's point of he likes more of the slow burn Ty West films, so that might temper his expectations for it. But the cast list is also incredible. You got Mia Goth, Michelle Monaghan, Bobby Cavell, Giancarlo Exposito, which is a big name actor in this movie. A24 produced Kevin Bacon as a private investigator. I'm very excited for this movie. The Mia Goth stuff, we still have to look into it and see where the lawsuit goes, because if it is proven that she did all this, then yes, my expectation goes from high to kind of medium level, because like, that's a piece of shit move that happened on set. Um, but overall, I'm excited for the movie in general. All right, we move back over to Chad.
All right, I'll throw out one that I don't think is going to be good, and this is well, it was on the list, so I'm throwing it out because maybe you guys might think it's going to be good. And that'll be good to the conversation. The Strangers Chapter 1. Um, this one's interesting because the original The Strangers, I think, is not a great movie, but I think it's a good movie. And it's one that I feel like a lot of people don't love. But then, if you think about it, I think it is one of the great, like, home invasion movies of the 2000s. And it really kind of hit the, you know, scary no motive thing, or the motive is just because we're bored because you're home, kind of
Such a
deal.
great line.
And then they, instead of just being a really great like first movie, just movie, they decided to make a sequel. And the sequel might have been shot kind of well and had like a good aesthetic to it, like an 80s kind of aesthetic to it,
Mm,
but like it was very, very dumb. Like I finally got around to watching it, Pray at Night, and I did not
hmm
like it. I was like, there's nothing going on in this movie that's entertaining or upping the ante from the first one or really doing anything different or exciting, and I'd rather just be watching the first one. So I don't know about The Strangers Chapter 1. I'd like to give it the benefit of the doubt, but then I see that Rennie Harlan's directing it. I know. See, did you see Carrie's face when I said that?
It's not gonna be good.
So that's what I'm. That's what I'm.
Oh yeah, have just looked at his work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did I put this on here?
I don't know,
I didn't see it on there.
but it's
Oh no, I do. Never
it's
mind.
in there. So
Well, I left Hunter with not a lot to choose from after I made that.
I mean, to be fair, I'm gonna take over if you don't mind for this
Yeah.
one. I love the first Strangers movie, like because I watched it, perfect location. I was home alone, you know, pitch black, midnight. Watched it for the first time, scared the shit out of myself because like the door wasn't locked, so I looked over and locked that door immediately. I think it was a really good, intense horror film with a really great, twist of like there was no reason, there wasn't revenge or anything. It's just, hey, you were home. Like very scary when there's no clear motivation other than, hey, these people are crazy. I think that's the reason why I put chapter 1 on the list, is because it's going to be pretty much a remake of the original one. If they can keep that intensity that I felt in the original one, then we can have a good movie. I hate that they kept making this. Why do Hollywood keep making announcements of a trilogy before a first movie even comes out? We see what they did with the Exorcist franchise. That movie, the second one, seems like it's not even going to come out anymore. They've already announced that the first two are coming out this year. I think like chapter 1 and chapter 2 are both coming out this year, um, which is insane because they're shooting that back to back. Hopefully it can be good if it's has the intensity of the first one. But looking at the director, man, I don't know if he can do that. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, man, not a good movie.
No, and it's much better than which Exorcist movie is it?
um,
One of those bad Exorcist movies.
Beginning,
Beginning or Dominion, but good lord, like unwatchable.
And to your point, Hunter, just because Fear Street did it, well, doesn't mean that you should always do it unless you have a really good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's move on from that. Is that it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go with one that I'm looking forward to probably the most, and that is Abigail. Abigail is directed by Radio Silence, and it stars Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Catherine Newton, John Carlos Exposito. The trailer just hit about a week or two ago. The film focuses on a group of kidnappers who capture and must watch over the daughter of the most powerful underworld figure for 15 million ransom until they get more than they bargained for. When Abigail reveals her true nature as a vampire child, hunting them down one by one. This movie sounds really fun. It has the kind of look and feel of Ready or Not, where like they're in a house, they're being chased down in different locations. Some really funny comedy from the trailers. I love Radio Silence. Melissa Barrera looks really, really great in this film. So overall, I'm super excited for this film. This film comes out and on April 19th, 2024. So guys, thoughts on Abigail?
Yeah, I wasn't excited when Radio Silence left the Scream thing because, we just talked about like the whole aspect of like, trilogies. Like they didn't like announce a trilogy or anything before they made a movie that a lot of people liked, but
Mm-hmm.
like they were on like their way to making a pretty decent Scream trilogy. And then they left to do, I guess, this. So that was kind of annoying that they did that, but that only makes me want this movie to be really good so that I go like, well, there's an excuse. You left to make a really good solo movie. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm mostly excited about Alicia Weir in this, because I was obsessed with her when she was in Matilda the musical, and so yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
sounds like a cool premise, and I think Alicia Weir's great. So, as little vampire Abigail, I guess. So, yeah, I'm actually really excited for this one as well.
Kerri?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one too. I think it'll be fun. We've seen great things from Radio Silence. We've seen great things from the actors in this movie. The actors in this movie. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's move on. Back to Kerri.
Okay. My next one I'll say is Late Night with the Devil. Don't know a ton about this movie, but I think the plot is like a late night exorcism on TV, and then it kind of like has repercussions. I think I saw David Dalsmachian in the thumbnail. But it looks really good. It's been getting, I think, good reviews in the festival circuit, but I'm not 100% sure.
South by Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It could be a good one.
Chad?
Yeah, this is actually the first time I'm hearing about this, but I'm looking at the Wikipedia thing right now. I mean, I love David Desmalchian. Um, don't super recognize a lot of people on the poster, but I love him. And the cool thing about this, in the same vein as X, this and the holdovers too. This looks like it's going to be in the style of a 70s film.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
the other cool thing is that it looks like the poster is very formatted to look like a 70s movie.
Yeah,
And
I
so
don't know if you
the
guys can see
really
that.
cool, the live television event that shocked a nation is the tagline.
Mhm.
Um, and it's a found footage movie apparently. Um, He's David Desmalchian is the host of a fictional 70s variety talk show. So that sounds really cool. Oh, it's gonna be like a Halloween themed movie as well. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be really cool.
So I think I remember seeing a trailer for this. I don't know where I saw it, but I'm pretty sure I did. The trailer looked really cool in a style of a 70s film. Um, the premise is very interesting. I'm not sure if it's based on an actual broadcast or not, or if it's just a made up film. I don't know if they've actually said if this was real or not, but overall, like I love certain found footage movies, and this looks like it could be one of the best. So let's see what Late Night with the Devil brings to us.
The other cool thing too, though, is that it's directed by siblings Cameron and Colin Cairns, and they're Australian.
Uh
So
oh,
Talk to Me was an Australian film directed by
exactly.
like a duo. So there you
Oh,
go.
where's the remote? Now it's Young Sheldon again.
We love to advertise Young Sheldon
Apparently,
around
if
here.
Young
you
Sheldon.
if you watch The Fireplace, you're a person who also watches Young Sheldon. So
Gotta love that Young Sheldon.
Is it back to me?
Um,
yes, because I just did
yes.
one. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Sorry about that.
Um, I'm gonna go with the Wolf Man. Why? Because it apparently now has Lee Winnell attached to it.
Wait,
No,
really?
yes,
Oh, as a director or
as a
producer?
director, baby.
Ooh,
So yeah, so now you can see why I'm very excited about it.
yes.
Lee
Wow.
Winnell went from an okay to being an okay writer director, behind like Saw and Insidious movies, stuff like that, to really blowing us away with Upgrade and then The Invisible Man. And The Invisible Man is such a great movie and so well directed, so well shot. Um, I can't imagine what he what he's going to do in this to elevate the game from what he did in The Invisible Man, or even if he made it just on par with The Invisible Man. I think it would just be something incredible to watch. And technically, if he does a great job with that, he's starting his own like Universal monster universe.
Yeah,
So
he is.
that's kind of cool. I don't know much about it. I think Ryan Gosling was originally supposed to be in it, but he was recently replaced by Christopher Abbott. And I
Mhm.
don't actually know too much about that actor, but
He was in It Comes at Night,
oh, okay.
um, and Whiskey Tango Foxtrot back in 2014.
Gotcha. Yeah, so there's not much to be known about this. It's been kind of like delayed and stuff before, I think. So, but it's slated to come out in around October. So, um, yeah.
All right, so Kerri, thoughts on the Wolfman?
I have faith in Lee Winnell and whatever he chooses to bring us. I believe in him. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I don't know a lot about this. According to IMDb, it says the Wolfman is about a man and his family who have been scared to death by a deadly predator. So that's very vague. I don't know what that could be. Lee Winnell, the one thing I love about him is that he takes horror, like especially in something like The Invisible Man, he takes like a very basic premise, but then elevates it and gives us something completely different that we weren't expecting.
Mhm.
Upgraded is another one that's like very sci-fi, techie based. I wonder if they're gonna go that route with the Wolfman, or if they're gonna go more traditional, like actual monster, like with special effects and stuff, or if they're gonna go more of a kind of a like a Lee Winnell twist to it. Either way, though, I'm very excited. Lee Winnell is one of my favorite horror directors working today. So if he chose this movie, then it has to be for a reason. So let's see what he brings us in The Wolfman. All right, back to me. All right, I'll go with Smile 2. Let me bring up the IMDb real quick. So Smile 2, I believe none of the original cast is coming back, which kind of sucks. But I'm trying to go to the Screen Rant article real quick. It's coming out in October. It's set 2 years after the release of the original film. And it says that um Naomi Scott will be stepping into the role of the leading role. So Naomi Scott played in movies like Power Rangers and then Princess Jasmine in Aladdin. So that's very interesting to see. Overall, though, I love the first Smile movie. Hopefully, they don't forget what made the first Smile movie great and just do something bigger for the sake of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I'm very excited for this film. Chad and Kerri, thoughts on Smile 2?
Um, I thought the first one was okay. I don't think I was in love with it as a lot of other people were, but it was still pretty good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the sequel will be like. Yeah, I would have assumed that they would have had Kyle Gallup. That's his name, right? Kyle
Kyle
Gallup.
Kyle
Gallner.
Garner.
Gallner.
Gallner return, but I think it also makes sense to have a completely new cast and like start the story fresh somewhere else. So
So sorry about that. it does say right here in other casting news, original Smile star Kyle Gallner will reprise his role as Detective Joel. So I guess he's going to be the thread between the first and second movie, but with a
Okay.
brand new cast around him. My
Oh,
bad. I heard it at one point it was going to be like an all new cast, and then I guess they brought him back to tie it into the first one.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Chad.
yeah, it looks like it's written and directed by the original Guy Parker Finn.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then the acting, like Naomi Scott, and then Lucas Gage. We just saw him in Fargo, the new season of Fargo, and White Lotus and stuff like that. So I'm excited for them. Excited for Kyle Gallner to return. I really like the original Smile. I thought it was like way more than what the gimmick seemed to be. Like it was just going to be this gimmick, and then it just wasn't going to be that interesting apart from that, and it turned out to be like actually very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that like you guys have been saying, they can keep that up, and if they do, then I think it'll be at least good. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
All right, let's move back over to Kerri.
Okay. My next pick will be The Watchers. Honestly, don't know anything about this movie except it is directed by I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce her name. But I think it's Ishana Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
M.
Yeah,
Night
Ishana Shyamalan. Good job.
M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. So I'm just very, very curious to see what this movie will be, what it's going to be about, who's going to, like, not who's going to be in it, but like how it's filmed. Like, I'm so interested.
Chad.
Yeah, I actually don't know much about this. I'm just looking at it now. Dakota Fanning's in it. That's interesting.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Premise: 28-year-old artist Mina gets stranded in an expansive, untouched forest in Western Ireland. Upon finding shelter, she unknowingly becomes trapped alongside three strangers who are watched and stalked by a mysterious creature each night. Okay.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, so I mean, it definitely sounds very interesting. And we know her dad, Ashana's dad, is very divisive. Like
Mm-hmm.
he will make some movies that some people think are really, really great. He's gotten a movie nominated for Best Picture before, and then he's also made some of the movies that people just loathe, like The Last
The Last
Airbender.
Airbender.
So if you say that's like his bottom, alongside like with After Earth and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but he's also had comebacks where he did like The Visit and stuff like that. So we'll have to see like what her style is. Is it the same as her dad? Is she going to be very divisive and weird? Is it going to be bad? Or is she going to come in and just show up her dad completely and go, actually, I'm the best Shyamalan right now.
That could be. Oh, sorry about that.
No, sounds interesting. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, another actress I'm very excited who's in this movie is Georgina Campbell. She was in Barbarian. She was the lead in Barbarian.
Oh, right.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so she's in this alongside Dakota Fanning. Um, the movie sounds very interesting. It's based on a novel by the same name, so they have source material to, like, she has a source material to go off of, which is interesting to see how she will adapt this novel. It sounds very interesting. Hopefully, it's something really good because I know her father also has a horror movie coming out this year as well. So you have two Shyamalan movies coming out in the same year, one from his daughter and one from him himself. So that's very interesting to see how that's going to line up as well.
Yeah, I didn't know he had a movie coming out too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's been announced because on IMDb it still says like untitled M Night film. It may get pushed to 2025. I'm not sure, but I know they were supposed to have, two Shyamalan movies this year. All right, let's move back over to Chad.
Yeah, I'll bring up Witchboard. I was just actually looking this up because I didn't know anything about this, but apparently, it's it's a remake of the original Witchboard from like the 80s, where they actually had like multiple ones of those, and I haven't seen them. But the interesting thing about this remake is that it's directed by Chuck Russell, and he's given us some really good horror classics like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, where we get the name for our show. Um,
Yep.
and then there's also The Blob 1988, which is an incredible movie. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited. And you know who's in this? Vecna, Jamie Campbell Bower. Um,
Yeah, I see that. That's awesome.
he's a creepy man. Um, and yeah, I don't know, man. I'm Premise: Emily, her fiance Christian, and their group of friends have opened a new organic cafe in the French Quarter of New Orleans by renovating an old carriage house. However, things take a dark turn when Emily finds an ancient pendulum board that was once used for summoning spirits. Concerned for Emily's well-being, Christian seeks the help of an occult expert named Alexander Baptiste, who has knowledge of the bloodlines that connect them to the witch board. As events unfold, a modern coven of white witches, a masked ball at Baptiste's mansion, and the legacy of Naga Soth, the queen of witches, all become part of the dangerous game that puts Emily's soul in peril. Sounds
Ooh,
really cool.
okay.
But kind of a
Excuse me.
little bit of a French twist to it, a Frenchness to it. Little,
Kerri, thoughts on this film?
Yeah, I put this on here because I was trying to find some stuff to fill out my list, and this seemed like an interesting one. Chad described, I think, everything I know about it, so
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how it is.
Yeah, so looking at the other lead, Madison Iceman, she I know her from the new Jumanji movies. She plays the like the influencer that ends up being Jack Black.
Yeah.
Um but apparently she's also scheduled to play Superwoman in James Gunn's Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow,
She's
which
also
I
in I was
go
just
ahead.
she's also in Annabelle Comes Home.
Yeah, that's right. She plays the friend of the lead, which is really interesting. Um, again, don't know a lot about this. Chuck Russell is, he directed probably the second best Nightmare on Elm Street film, the third one. Um, and he also directed one of my like the probably the movie I watched the most as a kid, The Mask with Jim Carrey. So I'm very interested to see what he does with a film like this.
Yeah, because he's like
Um,
a comic book guy.
Yeah. So again, don't know a lot about it, but let's see what happens when Witchboard comes out.
Yep.
All right, my turn, I believe. All right, I'm gonna go with
He goes after me.
You what?
Which board?
yeah,
Oh,
Witchboard. That's fine. I'm
I'm
gonna go with
I'm sorry.
We're wrapping
that's
it.
fine. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Imaginary. This
Yeah.
is directed by Jeff Wadlow, who directed Kick Ass 2, Fantasy Island. It's a Blumhouse film. The premise is very interesting. It's like an old stuffed bear comes to life and starts playing sinister games. Very interested to see what that will be like. Um, yeah, overall, it's a kind of a new cast. It's a Blumhouse film. They can go one or two ways, really good or really bad. So let's see what happens when Imaginary comes out. Chad and Kerri, thoughts on this film?
I mean, he's not a great director. Just looking at
He
what
he
he's
is
done.
not.
Um, but I mean, the concept sounds pretty interesting. It could be like a kind of like whatchamacallit, like an Annabelle or like a Megan kind of
Hmm.
thing. Although it looks like it's going to be scarier than that. Like
Yeah.
Megan, kind of more of like a horror comedy kind of ilk, but this one looks like it's probably going to be terrifying or stupid. Um,
One of the two.
scary, yeah. So that's why I'm hoping it's going to be like really really scary. Um, the concept of like the haunted bear just sounds very
Mhm.
scary. And the cool thing that I like about it is the bear the bear doesn't like look creepy except for the thing that would make the bear creepy is if the bear looks just like a cute little bear, but then you hear the stories about the bear and like what has happened
Yeah.
there. That's what makes it scary. I feel like that's what happened with the original Annabelle that we have in real life. That's just a Raggedy Ann doll. You hear the stories
Hmm.
about it, and you're like, "Fuck, that doll's scary as hell." And then you get scared looking at images of it.
Yep.
But then when they made the movie, they're like, no, we're gonna make this doll look really creepy. And then it's like, yeah, but that's not what's scary about her because the way she looks, it's the stories about her. So yeah, so I'm excited for the premise of it, and yeah, that's it.
Kerri?
I don't expect much, and
That's
so
fair.
we'll see if I even watch this movie at all.
That's fair. All right, move back over to Kerri. I believe we're almost done.
Yeah, I think the last one for my list is Long Legs. Honestly, I don't remember a single thing about this movie. Chad's got it pulled up, so maybe he'll tell us.
I don't have it pulled up.
Oh,
Let me real quick, Carrie. I'm sorry. Let me just read the imaginary tagline. Meet Chauncey. He's not imaginary, and he's not your friend.
oh yeah, this movie I forgot. Imaginary. It's the one that's it. It looks like a combination of a bad combination of like Ted and Megan.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what I saw. The poster, just like the poster.
Oh,
You're just trying to rip off like two different movies right here.
Megan and Ted.
Yes,
That's
I think
great.
it's a teddy bear, but it acts like Megan. Tell me it's not just a combination of those. Um,
Yes.
but Long Legs, I don't know. I was trying to fill out my list and the plot must have struck me as interesting. So
Um, it's produced by and starring Nicolas Cage.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's right. Yeah.
Directed by Oz Perkins, who gave us the Blackcoat's daughter. So yeah, that it sounds like it's going to be pretty interesting. It's distributed by Neon.
Yep.
That's something behind it. Lee
It's got
Harper, talented new FBI agent, has been assigned to an unsolved case of a serial killer. As the investigation becomes more complicated and occult evidence is uncovered, Harker realizes a personal link to the ruthless killer and must act quickly to prevent another family murder. So it's a serial killer movie.
ooh, interesting. Um this film also stars Alicia Witt, who was the lead in Urban Legend from
Mhm.
1998. Love her, love that movie. Nicolas Cage, yeah, stars Micah Monroe. I believe she was in, yeah, Watcher
If all
from
of
2022, Greta, and God is a Bullet as well, and The Guest as
The guy.
well. Um, this movie sounds very interesting. Any movie with Nick Cage in it is going to be an instant watch for me. His horror stuff as of late has been really weird and really out there and really interesting to watch. So overall, I'm excited to see what Nicolas Cage is going to bring to this film. Chad?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. Nick Cage, always great. He's the killer. I don't know. So I'm very excited for it. Actually,
And then, did we start with Carrie on this one, or do you want to
yeah.
add anything since you know a
Oh,
little bit more about it? Do you want to add anything else to it, or
me, I knew nothing about it really. So
so I'll go on with another one then.
all right?
do we have any? I guess
Yeah,
there are two left. Two for you too.
yeah. I'll go with Saw 11. Um, it's interesting with Saw X because that one was such a surprise, and at least for me, I think it might be my favorite of any Saw movie now. And I think if I were to revisit them again, all the Saw movies, that's the one I'd want to watch the most. And I might end up starting with it next time. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with it. I don't know much about like what they have planned for it, but if it's as good as Saw X was, I'm fine with them keep going. Although Saw X could have also been a great way to end everything, which would have made Kerri very happy. But sorry, Kerri, we're getting a Saw 11.
Yeah, that was my fear when Saw X was being promoted, that it would be somewhat decent and or do somewhat well. It didn't have to be decent. If as long as it did somewhat okay in the box office, then we just start seeing Saw movies again every single Halloween.
Every Halloween, baby.
So yeah, I hope y'all are not expecting much, because I think probably what made Saw 10 pretty good was the fact that they actually took some time to make it. And I feel like with this one, they're probably just going to be capitalizing on the popularity of Saw 10 and rushing to make another crappy movie. Sorry.
So, not excited for it. Got it.
Sorry.
No. I mean, that's understandable. Because it is, when they started doing back-to-back year after year Saw movies, they did get worse and worse. The only thing that gets me excited for this is that Tobin Bell is returning. I believe you have the same director from Saw X, and it's going to follow, I believe, between Saw 2 and 3. So that time before John Kramer was in the hospital. So I'm interested to see what they did with that. I know the villain in Saw X survived, so that could be a plot through that they use for Saw 11. I think she was really good in that film. So overall, I'm really excited for it, but overall, like, I'm conflicted. Saw X was really good, and I don't want them to come out with another kind of subpar Saw movie.
Saw 11 is going to end up being the woman who got away. She's going to be the new Jigsaw killer.
No!
No. They're just going to keep making movies to say, like, oh, yeah. And even though, like, there was basically no time difference between Saw 2 and Saw 3. Actually, Jigsaw, they have already done this with so many of these Saw movies where they were like, well, since we killed off Jigsaw, we have to do this as kind of like a prequel and like pretend that all this happened in between. It just doesn't make any, and they're just gonna, the only way the movies are even somewhat passable is if they have Tobin Bell in them, and they know that. So they're just going to make all these prequels, although even he's like 20 years older than when the first movie came out. I just let it go, people.
Game over, Kerri.
Game over. So I'm hesitant, but hopefully they can give us another Saw movie, a good Saw movie, and then end it.
Well,
they're never ending it, Hunter. Never.
Tobin Bell is only 81. Okay,
he's 81.
They're still making this man make these damn movies at 81.
Listen to this. June Squibb is 94.
What?
And she's in a Sundance movie that we're going to watch called Thelma tomorrow.
Wow.
Maybe not tomorrow, but this soon.
10 more years of Saw, baby. He can keep doing it.
Just let the man retire. Give him like the profits from half of the Saw movies and let him retire in peace.
The Saw movies are never ending, Kerri. You said yourself, they're never ending. Saw reboot 2025, baby.
Yes, that honestly, in 10 years, there's gonna be the Saw reboot, and we're gonna start all over again.
Yep. Repeat the cycle. All right, so moving on to me for the last one, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go with the last movie, which is Stream. So Stream is an upcoming horror film. I'm sorry?
There's another one after this.
Oh, is there?
I don't think we've...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
There's one
so
more.
sorry. Go ahead, Hunter.
That's fine. So Stream is an upcoming horror film directed and co-written by Michael Levy. It stars Jeffrey Combs, Danielle Harris, Dee Wallace, Felissa Rose, Tony Todd, like David Howard Thornton and several other producers and crew members for Stream, including Levy, were previously involved with the 2016 film Terrifier and Terrifier 2, as well as Terrifier 3. That cast alone gets me
Yeah.
super excited. Like, that is horror royalty right there, man. And the premise is when Roy and Elaine Kieran realize their family is drifting apart, they decide that something needs to be done. Roy forces his work to take a back seat, and they seize the opportunity to recreate a vacation from their past. A peaceful stay in a quaint hotel is just what they needed. However, that is not what's in store for them. With four deranged murderers patrolling the seemingly mundane halls, the odds are definitely not in the Keenan family's favor. Roy must fight for his life and those of his family in order, or as their simple weekend getaway turns into a vacation to die for. This movie sounds amazing and right down my alley. I can't wait for it. Chad and Kerri, thoughts on Stream?
Yeah, this one is kind of interesting. Just looking over um, stuff about the movie, it looks like it was like already shot and basically complete for the most part, like 90% complete back before 2021. And they said that because of the pandemic, uh, it got delayed. And then it had to go into like get like crowdfunding money and stuff like that. So it really looks like it's something that people are desperately trying to get complete. And it looks like they're probably on their way to being done if it's coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I was right there on the same page. Looking through this cast, I'm like, Jesus, okay. So this looks kind of amazing as far as like, having a lot of really famous horror actors. It's not just like regular actors, they're like like a lot of like famous horror icons. So um, bad, good, I don't know, but I'm interested either way.
Kerri?
Yeah, like you guys said, it's a killer cast. Really interested to
Literally.
see it. Literally.
Literally. um all right, and that's pretty much all the information we have on that one. What is the last movie on the list?
Nosferatu.
Yes.
Oh, I looked over that one. That is correct. Kerri, go ahead and talk about Nosferatu.
Yeah, this will be interesting. It's a Robert Eggers movie. So he's given us The Witch, which is my favorite movie of his, and then The Lighthouse and the
Northman.
The Northman.
The
Thank you.
Viking Man.
The Viking.
The
one.
Viking Man.
Yeah, I'm interested. I love the original Nosferatu. I think I've seen clips of the 70s remake. I think Joe Bob did a double feature of them like
Of course he did.
Something. Although I might be completely making that up in my mind, but I think that's what happened, and I think I watched them both. I've definitely seen the original one quite a few times. Interested to see. I think it's an interesting choice that he's doing a remake. So I feel like it must be a passion project because he's gotten so successful. I think that he has his choice of projects. And I know the cast is supposed to be pretty great. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what comes out. Yeah.
Chad?
Yeah, Robert Eggers is a great director. Everyone has their favorite of his. I think I might agree. I like the Witch the most, but a rewatch of The Lighthouse could change that. I don't think a Northman rewatch will change how I feel about that one. I like it, don't love it. But either way, no matter what he chooses to do, he makes something interesting. And it always just feels like his vision. And so I'm very excited to see what he has up his sleeve with Nosferatu. And knowing that he did The Witch, he's probably going to make it feel very like period authentic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just seemed like really scary and like it could really happen. And that's what how the witch made me feel. Excuse me. And this is one of the OGs, man. I mean, this 1922, one of the earliest horror films. And so I'm just so excited to see. Well, I want to actually, in preparation, rewatch that 1922 version, then rewatch the 70s remake Kerri was talking
Mm-hmm.
about. 70s or 90s?
I think there have been actually
There's been
multiple.
like 3 remakes, I'm pretty sure.
I'd like to watch whatever the ones that are good, and then go see this. And I'm just excited looking at the cast too, with Bill Skarsgård. Like I'm hoping that it feels something of its own with Bill, and he's not basically doing Pennywise as a vampire. But I'm excited to see his take on it. The makeup
Mm.
stills that I saw looked pretty cool. I love Nicholas Holt. Um, have I seen anything with Lily Rose Depp in it?
She was in a lot of
Oh, she was in Tusk.
yeah.
I don't know. She's in it. And then Aaron Taylor Johnson is great, and Willem Dafoe's in it. So this is going to be amazing. I think. He's given me no reason not to think this is going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, my favorite Eggers film is actually The Northman. I think what he did with that mythology was incredible. Which gets me more excited for Nosferatu. I love all of his films. They feel unique and different, as you guys were saying. And if he can take Nosferatu and give me the style of like a witch, that'd be amazing. Or if he gives me like the direction and the black and white feel of the lighthouse, could be a really cool way to like have an homage to the original 1922 black and white film, but keep it updated in like this kind of grayish color that he did for the lighthouse. Eggers is just a fantastic director, so I'm really excited with this, especially with the cast involved. All
Amen.
right, that's all the movies that we wanted to go through. Chad and Kerri, where can people find you online before we head out?
All right. Yeah. Go over to my channel, Chadwick Webb, where I rank stuff. And then go ahead and check out the Dill Pickle Movie Network, where I talk about Oscars on the show called Picture This. And we're trying to watch every Best Picture nominee. And we're doing a great job of it. This month, we did 1927/1928, which is the very first year of the Oscars. And then next month, we are doing 1943. For Valentine's Day month, we're doing Casablanca.
Ooh, interesting. All right, is there anything else you want to plug before we head out?
Nope.
All right, guys, if you did enjoy this, please hit that like button, subscribe to Nerd Entertainment Network down below. We also have a blog. I will post that in the description below, so go check that out with our most anticipated movies. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.